With the Ultrafeed sewing machine, you get superior feeding and superior stitch lengths. Let's look at the foot to see why. A walking foot sewing machine utilizes 2 feet on the top of the fabric. In the case of the Ultrafeed, the outer foot is the walking foot and the inner foot is the presser foot. The outer walking foot engages a feed dog that comes up through the slots in the needle plate. And while we're looking at this, I want you to notice not only how wide the feed dog track is on the machine, but also that it has an aggressive tooth to grip and pull the material through. That tooth is also present on the underside of the walking foot. So when you drop the foot, and I'm going to remove the thread to do this, when you drop the foot and rotate the flywheel, the 2 sets of feet, the feed dog and the presser foot, or walking foot, grip one another and pull the material back. Now the other thing that we can notice here, if you watch my hands, is how a walking foot functions. So basically, the feed dogs, or the grippers, if you will, come apart, come forward, come together, grip the material, pull it back, and then separate and move forward again, come together to grip the material and pull it back. So when we watch the machine function, that's what we'll be seeing happen. The other thing while we're looking at the foot to notice is that when the needle is in the up position, we have a rather impressive amount of room between the presser feet and the needle plate, which of course allows us to get a thick batch of material under the foot of the sewing machine. Also, while we're looking at these plates, you'll notice that on our latest models of machines, the plates and the feet are silver in color, which makes it a lot easier to see the fabric that you're sewing. Now we're going to take a look at stitch length and feeding capability. I have 2 layers of sunbrella here, and I'm just going to sew in straight stitch with the longest stitch possible. And what we get is a 6 millimeter stitch length, which is not quite 4 stitches per inch. Long stitch lengths, very important when you're working with canvas work because it reduces puckering. They call it needle pucker of the fabric. It's important to know, though, that obviously this machine can do more than just a long stitch length. The stitch length is entirely variable, anything from maximum 6 millimeters in forward, maximum 6 millimeters in reverse, and anything in between. So stitch length shows us that you have a great feeding range. Now we want to talk about feeding power. The best way to show that is let's take our 2 layers, fold it so that we have 4 layers, and then let's fold it again so that we now have 8 layers of material. And we're going to sew from 1 layer up into that 8 layers, and this gives us sort of a good comparison to sewing, for instance, a hem at the bottom of your blue jeans when you get into the seam area. And I'm not pushing, and you notice that foot just fed right up and right over into the 8 layers from the single layer of fabric. And we can do that in forward, and here hands free. We can reverse down the bump. We can do this in zigzag. Just tremendous feeding capability from going to through varied thickness of material. That's all due to that walking foot mechanism and the teeth that we looked at that are on both the feed dog and the underside of the walking foot. Thanks for watching.